Good
Welcome,
morning.
welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
Let me go make sure my Wi-Fi extender is okay. We're good. I know, guys. I know technology. Good morning, guys.
Spanish
Happy
music.
Tuesday. I know we got to get in the vibes.
Yeah.
I'm still in birthday mode.
Yes, it was our own Alexa Power's birthday yesterday.
Woo. Cheers! Cheers with coffee. The big 3-0. Can't believe it.
3-0.
I'm literally in shock. Like, what happened? I thought I was still in college. Like, what's going on? Let me turn my light on.
Yep. Welcome to becoming an adult,
I
lady.
know, gosh, more responsibilities. Oh, thank you guys.
Yes, and I'm actually in South America right now too. So remote. Last week,
Yes,
Francisco was out here from Colombia. I am in Colombia now.
I'm so excited to go over there. We love our Colombians. Thanks for coming in, guys. Get started in 1 minute. One more minute. Have some announcements for you all. Oh, thanks, Sean. Thanks, Elena. Aw, thanks for being on, guys. Good morning, Allison. Thank you, Bruce.
Great. I'm seeing some people from Thursday. I saw Boca. I'm seeing people from Saturday.
Yes, you guys. Thank you guys for coming out. We really appreciate that. Means the world, but also so good, so glad for you guys too. So you can meet the amazing people that are in this community. I love the webinars, but you gotta get it all. Hey Patrick. Oh, I love it.
Oh,
Anisha's old stomping grounds.
USF, go
Oh
Bulls.
yeah, go Bulls. Half my family went to USF, so it's in my blood. That is too funny. Well, you guys, welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Yes, I am now 30. It is crazy, and I'm so grateful to like be coming into this next chapter with each and every one of you guys. You all mean so much to me, and thank you all so much. So, if you don't know me already, I'm Alexa, COO here at BPM RIA. That is Broward, Palm Beach, Miami-Dade Real Estate Investors Association, your only local and approved chapter here in South Florida that is in compliance and partnered with the National Real Estate Investors Association. We have our lovely CEO in the virtual building, and he is going to discuss creative financing, how to buy real estate without banks, credit, or cash. I know this is a little scary topic at times, but I promise you, once you get to know it and get more familiar, it will make so much more sense to you. And you can start applying these different strategies in your everyday life. You just don't know the possibilities until you start diving in. So we're excited to do that with you guys today. And we do have a fun raffle, one of our last chances to win a free seat at our 2-day quick start. So you guys, please text in the word quick start, all one word, no spaces, to our event line 954-800-6961. So if you're interested in winning the raffle, all you got to do is text in the word to that number you see on the screen. I'm going to put the details in the chat for you guys right now, and I will announce the winner at the very end. So good luck, go enter, go, go, go. I have so many great events for you guys right now. We have tons of webinars coming up. We have another in-person workshop in Boca tomorrow. This will be hosted by Next Million Mastermind, our local in-house mastermind here in South Florida that is run all by, again, local business owners in South Florida. So we're super grateful to bring this opportunity to you guys to learn about marketing. This will be an all marketing class, the smartest way to scale to 7 figures without hiring a marketing team. Guys, so cool. So please go out, show out. This will be, I want to say the Total Wine in Boca, but I have the full address on our website. So I'm going to link that in the chat right now so you can get registered. It is registration RSVP required. So please RSVP and get your name on the list. That is a free class. So all you need to do is register and give us a heads up that you are coming. And of course, we're going to have raffles at all of these events that you see on the screen. On Thursday, we're going to have Concierge Title breaking down more title insurance and lien search reports. So that's going to be super interesting and enlightening. Next week, we're going to have another webinar on hidden deals, how to find off-market properties before anyone else. And guys, this is again like one of the last chances to win a free seat at the Quick Start. So please, please, please be at these webinars. That will be held by Anish. And you guys already know we're probably going to be bringing up some REIFax, some software, some, specific strategies that we're going to be getting into at our boot camp. So please attend that webinar if you're thinking about spending the boot camp with us. We also have our monthly meeting next week. So guys, please, please, please register. This is going to be such a great class. Anish and I heard Megan speak and teach during the National Real Estate Investors Association conference on the cruise. She is so good, you guys. Her processes, her business, she's so thorough. She is in the property management world. She is just phenomenal, though. She does all sorts of deals with the rentals and everything. So I'm excited to hear her discuss her business and her techniques. She uses technology. She's really with the times, you guys. So really interesting. Can't wait to have Megan on. And of course, we'll be having a raffle for her. So please be there. And then, guys, we have another free webinar inside the mind of the strategic investor. Anish is bringing on a special guest. So please be there and show up, get there for Q&A, ask questions live. That's why we do these things, you guys. So putting the link again in the chat for those that are trickling on in. My favorite way to keep up with events. It is super easy. All you need to do is text BPM REIA, all one word, no spaces, to our event line. It is 954-800-6961. So go ahead and text that word to that number if you want to receive the text updates to your phone. It is super convenient and handy and dandy. I absolutely love it. So details are in the chat for you all. Our Quick Start training, it is coming up so soon, you guys. This is my favorite time because you literally don't get to spend the entire weekend with an Start. So I highly recommend, if you haven't done the Quick Start, you must do it. This is going to give you insight into our coaching program. You're going to get all of the strategies that have been working with our students and mentors for, I want to say, a decade now. We have been adding things in. We've been making it better each and every year. We've added in AI. We've added in some creative stuff. We are really making it thorough for you all. So we're going to discuss wholesaling, flipping, and rehabbing. We're going to have 4 incredible guest speakers on this training, all local business owners. We have Kevin Thatcher, the owner of Independence Title, Francisco Mago, the owner and creator of the Deal Finder software that we use, REIFax. We have our chief tax strategist, Jose Ramirez, as well as our primary contractor, Carl Sheely, all on this training, giving different sessions with you guys. We're going to be analyzing deals together. We're going to be doing the numbers. We're going to be breaking into small groups. We're going to be networking. We're going to be doing so much. So you get to do all of this from the comfort of your home. As long as you have good Wi-Fi and a quiet space, please, you can do this from home. It is a virtual online live boot camp. So we're all going to be on there together, getting into it, It is absolutely very interactive. It's incredible. Highly recommend. That's all I will say. Link is in the chat. Please, please, please answer the poll. And thank you guys for letting me know your feedback on the poll. I really appreciate that so we can see where you guys are at. And I can really get in touch with you and see what is stopping you from getting registered right now. So let's go ahead and, oh, members, as you guys know, you get the goodies. You get the National RIA benefit package, discounts to Home Depot, Avis Budget, Rent Perfect, Millennial Insurance, Kama Plan, so many incredible vendors for you guys. Plus, you get access to the member directory, all of the benefits, data portal, all of that good stuff. So if you don't have your membership, please go get that before our next quarterly meeting, because you will be getting in for free for our quarterly meetings for networking, and your guests will come in for a discount only $10. So that is super awesome, and you should definitely have your membership if you don't have it already. Our mentoring program, last but very not least, one-on-one coaching and mentoring here at BPM RIA. Some of you may know that we offer one-on-one coaching options. Some of you may not know. I highly encourage that you book this discovery call right here. It's going to be on our website on bpmria.com. I'll put the link in the chat right now so you can go get on my calendar. This will be a 30-minute session with you and with me where I can get you the complete breakdown of everything we include in the programs that we offer, brochure, pricing, everything you need, and also schedule this free consultation with you and a mentor. So I'm here to help you guys. I want to hear directly from you, your goals, what you're looking for in achieving in real estate investing, what you're looking to achieve in getting with the RIA. So please, please, please go book your discovery call. If you have not, I want to connect with you. I want to see how I can help and just get to know you better. So please go book your call with me, as my schedule does fill up pretty quickly each week. So here I have this third-party funding on the screen. If you are interested in getting funding through this third-party opportunity, you want to fund your education, all you need is a minimum 620 credit score, $35,000 verifiable income. It is a soft credit pull, and you will get the response in the same day as long as you're doing this during business hours. So if you would like for me to email this to you, my email's in the chat. Go ahead and book the discovery call, and I will get this over to you if you are interested in that. And I always want to take a moment to thank the National RIA for all of the amazing benefits and things that they offer, all of the resources. You guys must go to their website and check out all of the education and things that they provide. If you are a member with BPM RIA, you are also a member of the National Real Estate Investors Association, because we are in compliance, you guys. We meet compliance yearly. They do all the checks on a niche. They make sure he's not a criminal. You guys, they do though. They do background checks and they really do their due diligence. So we are super grateful for that. We're super grateful for all of the corporate members, all of our vendor partners. Please check them out, you guys. They're all on our website, such as RIAFAX. Our discount code is all listed on the website under vendor partners. So please go check that out. A lot of you guys have been asking about REI Black Book, the CRM that we use. The free trial link, it is on our website. So please go to the website, go under vendor partners, check them out. A lot of you guys want to see what different options we have. They are there. If you have recommendations that you think they should be on our platform, they have been working for you. If you don't want to gatekeep, please send them to me. Send them to me. I want to get connected with them. I've been meeting with some really, really awesome attorneys recently. So you guys, please send them my way. I would love to help you all and be there for you. So I'm going to drop the social medias in the chat right now as well. And please, you guys, we want to hear your questions. Go ahead and put those in the Q&A box. You'll see a box in your Zoom menu with a little question mark on there. It says Q&A. So direct all your questions in the Q&A box. We are so happy and ready to answer those, and we'll be chatting away with you all in the chat as well. So thank you guys for being here. And thank you, Anish, for teaching the class.
Well, again, happy belated birthday to our own Alexa Para. Welcome today on creative financing. We've been talking about creative financing for some bits, probably in the last 4 or 5 months. I do see a lot of new names, so the question might be, who am I, right? My name is Anish Dalve, CEO of BPM RIA, formerly known as BRIA, the Broward Real Estate Investors Association. I've been a longtime investor. I've been investing in real estate since, gosh, 2001. I grew up in New Jersey. And so for me, you know, I love real estate. I have a degree in finance. My parents were hoping that I would become a doctor. As I passed out when they took blood from me at 10, mom knew I wasn't going to be a doctor. So I went to engineering school. And then I realized I didn't want to be an engineer. More importantly, I realized I did not like the cold weather anymore. So I transferred down to USF in Tampa. So I think, Patrick, you're in Tampa. I love the Tampa Bay area. I lived there for, gosh, almost 8 years. And then I've been living in South Florida for, I can't believe it, over 25 years. So some of the other things that we've been up to also on our team. You've already met Alexa Para. If you've been coming to the meetings, if you came up to Boca, you met Michael and Mabby. If you've been around for any amount of time, you definitely know Harry and Victoria from the webinars, and Denise and Lucian, and Taryn Ward is also part of our team. So one of the things that I always talk about is, are you living your best life? So for me, I literally went from making millions of dollars to getting crushed in 2008, right? So how many guys have been in real estate for longer than, let's say, 3 years? Put in the chat. I just want to make sure you guys are alive out there. I want to see what kind of experience you guys have also. So if you've been investing for longer than 3 years, let me know. So one of the things for me is, my wife and I, you know, we've been traveling all around the world, and it was really this real estate, this wholesale rehabbing that got us back in. So I literally went from making millions of dollars to filing bankruptcy February 10, 2010. And I didn't want to go back to corporate America. And I said, I got to figure this out. So I spent well over $50,000 in coaching programs, a national coaching program, I should say, in 2008 or 2009, is really the right time. And the information was good. The challenge was, my mentors were in Utah. So I know some of you guys have done programs, national programs, and you said, hey, it didn't really work out that well. What I'm going to tell you is, all our mentors have all done national programs. We've done 5 different national programs, and between us, we got 0 deals. So don't let that be a death sentence to you. One of the things that this real estate business has allowed me to spend more time with my dad. Unfortunately, I didn't have a ton of time with my mom because I was too busy building the business. And now, you know, being in masterminds and having my own mentors, and spending well over $130,000, $140,000 this last couple of years, I'm finally figuring out the balance of real estate and my personal life. The other mentors, we always just talk about it. They love to travel also. We also have been traveling, gosh, on the National RIA Cruise. I've also, if you guys are football fans, I've been working with the Miami Dolphins on the initial business combine. And I've also worked with the professional athletic community. These are former NFL players now trying to get into real estate. I am their expert on wholesaling and rehabbing. Some of the other things that we've also done is, we are very proud of our BPM student community. We've done happy hours, we've done barbecues, we've done fun stuff. As I mentioned, we've also been on the National RIA Cruise. I do highly recommend the next National RIA Cruise is February 1st to the 9th, or 8th, I should say, right? It's 7 days. So it's February 1st to the 8th. And it is out of Miami. Generally speaking, there's over 100 to 200 real estate investors from around the country, and we get to travel the Caribbean. The sea days are fun. It's educational days, and we also have a ton of fun here on the BPM team. So let's get into it, right? So before you get started, who wants to make more money in 2025? Give me a yeah, buddy. I want to make sure you guys are alive. Right? Who wants to make more money in 2025? Okay. Only a couple of you guys. Yes, Bruce, I know you do, right? Okay. Sean, Courtney, awesome. So how many guys realize that you're gonna have to sharpen your skills, and if you don't sharpen your skills, it's gonna cost you money? Give me a yeah, buddy. Just want to make sure you guys are alive. I know it's Tuesday. You gotta have your cup of coffee. And ultimately, how many guys realize if you don't invest in yourself, it's gonna really not change your life, right? Give me a yeah, buddy. Right. So without a doubt, the best investment I've made in myself is myself, meaning my education. So through my education, I was able to come back from filing bankruptcy to living the life I want to live. So let's talk about creative financing. Go ahead, put in the chat. What do you think creative financing is? Give me an example of what creative financing means to you. Put in the chat. Right. Want to make sure you guys are alive, guys. What is creative financing? Okay, make an agreement with the owner. Yeah. What else? Non-traditional lending. Yeah. Full line banker mortgage. Okay. All right. All right. We got you guys thinking. So there are multiple techniques, but the ones I'm going to focus on today. So, okay, seller financing, right? Seller financing is one that I love. And we're going to go deeper into these. Lease options, sub two or subject to financing, and joint ventures and partnerships, right? These all four are the main ones that I like using. These have been the most popular out there. And so let's kind of break into it, right? So when we talk about subject to, right, it's acquisition only, right? Seller financing, lease options, and then a wrap, which is for disposition. So when you're actually selling properties, you could actually even do a wrap, and we'll go into that somewhat in it. So I know today that we have all different levels of investors on board today. So what I like about creative financing, there's only one rule. There are no rules. How many guys love no rules? Go ahead and put in the chat if you are a rebel. Put in the chat. Are you a rebel? Right? Some of you guys are. Some of you guys aren't, right? So this is your chance to shine with no rules, right? Oh, and look at that. I got even Carl Fisher from Camoplan on board here too. So one of our favorite people and actually one of my personal mentors too. So yeah, great to
Love
see you,
you,
Carl.
Carl. Love you.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh-oh, this must be some serious stuff. I better be on my best behavior and
Yeah,
talk about
they're
the
watching and
great.
they're watching.
They're watching, right? So remember, you only need one, cash flow or equity, right? And you only need to control one, price, interest, payment, or time. So actually, you know what, Alexis, we're gonna do a little something different. I'm always putting you on the spot anyway.
All right,
So since you're new into investing, what's
yes.
more important to you, cash flow or equity? If you bought something, and
Um,
this is
yeah,
not a home, that you're gonna live in.
yes. Then it would be cash flow.
Cash flow, right? So the answer is they're both great. The
Yeah.
challenge of what I'm going to tell you for me is I'm just like you. I'm more about cash flow.
Mhm.
The reason was I played the equity game back in 2008 and the equity got shot down. What I mean by that, prices got whooped. It went from literally a house 400,000 went down to 85,000. So the equity game, it doesn't really count until when? Until you actually sell the property. It reminds me, the best way is think of your stock portfolio, right? So if you've been, you have your 401k or you're in the market, these last, I don't know, 45 days
Oh yeah, no,
have
that's my boyfriend's language. Stocks is his language, so yeah.
Yep. It's
Very.
exactly it's a ride up and down, right? So it
Mhm.
can be the same way when it comes to equity. And yeah, Alina, I agree with you. If you could do both, that's even better.
Mhm.
So for me, as I said, like I had over 28 properties, had a ton of equity, and the challenge was none of them were cash flowing. or maybe one or two. I took out the equity and I bought something else. And I said, okay, there's all this equity, I should be good, right? Back then, banks were lending. Even as an investor, you could even get 100% loan to value on a property. So I could literally take out all the equity. For example, I had a duplex in Little Haiti. I bought it for $100,000. It was worth over $400,000. I refinanced it, had about $225,000, pulled out some cash, and then I had a line of credit for another $175,000. The challenge was my payments were close to $4,000. My income was less than $2,000, so negative cash flow. So that not great for me. I thought there was all this equity, I should be good. And it wound up being a domino effect, right? So on the other creative side, right, you only have to control one: price, interest, payment, or time, right? Basically, you have to control terms. If, I don't know, if let's say Alexa picks the price, right? She wants X amount for her house, right? She's a seller, $350,000. Well, I'm gonna control the terms, right? On that end of it, the interest, payment, or time. So the idea is you don't have to cover everything. And so we'll kind of break into what that means, right? And guys, if you do have questions, throw them in the Q&A. If I am going a little too fast, I'm sorry. And I could always stop and slow down a little bit too. So subject to, right? Or, you always hear sub two.
Yeah.
What does, go ahead, put in the chat. What do you think sub two means? What have you heard about sub two? What do you guys, I want to make sure you guys are alive and breathing. Sub two existed by financing, yep. Keeping the mortgage in place, yep. You guys got it, right? So what we're gonna do, again, I'll pick it on Alexa, saying that, first of all, she has to have a mortgage. So you cannot do this if she owns it free and clear. I am taking over her mortgage payments, right? So that's what I'm doing. So for example, right, her townhouse, let's pretend, right? I know she lives in Panama City. Her townhouse has a mortgage. And let's say they bought it a few years ago. And I don't know, you don't have to really tell me what your rate is, but let's say it's 3.25, right? We remember what happened in the pandemic, which is hard to believe that was almost 5 years ago, if you can believe it, which is so insane, right? All the rates went down. So back pre-pandemic, I think the rates were about 6-7%. In the height of the pandemic, it got under 3%. Danny Egigaren from Loan Depot, one of my friends, he talked about his lowest refinance rate was 1.95. How many guys would love an interest rate of 3% or less? Put in the chat. Give me a yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Right? If not, right? Today's rates, right? Let's talk about today's rates. You're probably close to, as an investor, probably close to 7 to 8%. 7 to 8%, maybe 6.875 up to 8%, depending on what kind of loan, right? So again, the benefits we get to take, we get to take advantage of Alexa's low rate. The key to subject to, right? This is a really bit important thing is, and I hear investors tell homeowners all the time, I am going to assume the mortgage, right? I hear that all the time. You cannot say you're gonna assume the mortgage. What does that mean, assuming the mortgage, right? Assuming the mortgage, let's assume, as I use the word assume there, let's pretend Alexa has a mortgage at Chase Bank. If I'm gonna assume her $200,000 mortgage, guess what? I have to apply with Chase Bank. I have to get qualified. So what do I need? I need pay stubs, most likely, right? Tax returns, bank statements, just exactly the same way that if I was applying for a mortgage, depending on time. So we have seen these things take a little bit more time, more than 30 days. I would say up to 60 days. There's a special department at each bank that that has the assumed part. So
Carl.
yes.
Hilarious. Blood type. DNA sample.
Yes, exactly. It is, as Carl Fisher stated in the chat, I'm just gonna say it's painful.
Yeah.
Is probably the nicest way. I gotta make sure I don't have to call HR on myself on my
Yep, I'm
claims
here.
or anything that's said here. It is beyond painful, right? So why would you want to even do that? It makes no sense. I don't say it doesn't make any sense. The challenge is, and I had someone actually call me the other day about this, and they had a deal. It was about $450,000 that they were agreeing on the price, and the assumable mortgage or the current mortgage was 280,000, and they wanted to assume it. And I said, okay, let's say you get approved, you get everything, it works out. Well, what about the rest of that money? Right? You're agreeing to, are you going to come up with almost $200,000 out of pocket? Are you going to do seller financing? And the first question I asked is, do they need the money? And they said, absolutely. So yeah, it might assume it. And what about the difference? Right? So in the scenario I gave you about, it's about 200,000. So again, on Alexa's house, if I assume the 200 mortgage or 250, I have to give her the money in between. So what are the benefits? What do you guys are some of the benefits of a subject to? Put in the chat. What are some of the benefits? Right? We already talked about take advantage of the interest rate. Yeah, Bruce, no qualifications. How many guys love no qualifications, no bank, right? Janine, yep, it could be a low down payment, agreed. It could also be a no down payment. No credit check, right? You can close as fast or as slow as needed, right? If you do this right, you could probably close in 7 days if time was of the essence, right? Low interest rate, no credit hit, cash flow if it's done right. Yeah, you guys are getting it, right? You could buy as many properties as you want, right? So there are some people, YouTubers, I won't say any of the big names out there, but there's some big people that advertise subject to, right? So again, you could buy multiple homes. So if you do conventional financing, if you do Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, generally speaking, again, these bank guidelines change all the time, is you could only have 10 Fannie Mae loans, or conventional loans, I should say. Versus with this, you could literally buy hundreds of properties, right? What are the other benefits for the seller? What could be a benefit if Alexa was a seller? What do you guys think? Let's say her mortgage was 200,000 and I'm going to buy the house or the townhouse is only worth 205. What can happen for Alexa, which she does not want to do? Right? Lower tax obligation, okay. Not more money over time on this, not on sub 2. Right? So if she owed 205, or let's say we agreed on a price of 205, and she owes 200,000, she's going to have some selling costs, right? She's going to have to pay stamps. There's always selling costs. Imagine she listed with a realtor. And so if she listed with a realtor, she's going to at least, I would say, a minimum pay 3%, maybe 5%. I'm not going to, I know the laws have changed a little bit, and let's say at least 3% for a listing agent. So she would literally have to walk in money to sell the house. Right? So that could be a challenge, right? Your typical, if I offered her a cash price, it'd probably be lower than that 205, right? And she's not going to walk in with $20,000 or $30,000. So it's another alternative, right? The other question is, for every good side, what's the downside? What are some of the downsides of subject to, whether for the seller or for you as the investor? What can be a downside? Right? For everything that happens, there's always the good and the bad. So I love living in South Florida, right? So South Florida is amazing. I love Florida. And what's the challenge in Florida? So for you guys from out of state that are listening in, unfortunately, we are known as the #1 fraud state. We just are, unfortunately, whether it's mortgage fraud, real estate fraud, Medicare fraud, insurance fraud. So exactly, Janine, it has to do with trust, right? So Alexa doesn't know me, right? I knocked on her door, I called her. We're talking about, I offered her a cash offer. And then I found out what her rate was. Her rate's less than 3%. I said, oh my gosh, this would be great. It could be a little bit more money out of in her pocket versus those closing costs, all the above. And so now I'm telling Alexa, I am going to take over your payments. And Alexa, you don't know me. You might say what? What would you might say? Not knowing me.
How do I know you're gonna do that?
Yeah, right. So like as I mentioned, exactly, there's a lot of trust issue. So as the investor, you have to overcome that, right? You have to overcome why they should deal with you. So that can be a challenge, right? Someone also talked about missed payments, right? Alexa has to trust me that I'm going to make those payments. The other thing that's really important is if I do subject to, the mortgage is still on Alexa's credit. She applied for the loan, it's still on her credit, I'm entitled. I also do, I should have gave my little disclaimer earlier today. Just let you know, I'm not giving you any legal advice or accounting advice out there. And if you're doing creative financing, I'm going to tell you how important it is to have a power team. You gotta have good attorneys. You gotta have good finance people, loan people all the way through. So today is just for 100% educational purposes, guys. So saying that we're gonna do a subject to, right? Again, I'm gonna take over the payments. What other downside do we or may we have, right? Is that let's say Alexa owes, I don't know, 25 more years on her payments. Again, it's going to show up on her credit. 5 months or 6 months later, her and her boyfriend say, hey, we want to buy another house. So they're going to go to their favorite lender, right? Their bank, and apply for a mortgage. What's going to pop up on her mortgage? I mean, on her credit. It's her mortgage, right? The one that I took over. So she's going to tell her loan officer, oh, I already sold that house to another investor. And then the investor is going to say, oh, wait, we need to get this offer qualified. So one of the big things is that you have to make sure when you're doing subject to, you have a good relationship with the seller. And if that happens, right, there's a due on sale clause. So you guys know if you've ever done a mortgage, it's like 180 pages. How many guys have read every single line on your mortgage or loan documents, right? No one does. In that thick packet, there's somewhere in there that says if it transfers title, the loan can be called, meaning it's a due on sale clause. So it's super important to do it the right way. And without going super deep into it, right? Generally what I've done and some of the other investors that I know, we usually buy it in a trust, right? So again, Alexa Para, trustee, or the address trustee, and I'm the beneficial interest on the trust, right? So there's a lot of different ways. Again, you have to do this correctly. If you do this wrong, right? If I put it in my name or my LLC, it could alert the bank that there's a transfer of title, right? Saying all that, the other big thing that's really important is, have I seen any due on sale clause? Have I seen a bank actually do it? I have actually seen a few now, not too many. And the point is, you usually have to have a good exit strategy, right? You generally speaking, you have 45 to 60 days to pay that off. So you want to make sure you have a good conversation with your homeowner, right? That's selling. On the lending side, again, the lending guidelines change. And what I can tell you right now is if Alexa, let's say it's over a year, And, she was going for a new mortgage and she's worried about her debt to income ratio to qualify for the new mortgage. She could call me up and ask for canceled checks. If she could show proof she has not been making those 12 payments, it won't be included in her debt to income ratios. So hopefully that makes sense, right? So there is a way in case, right? In case Alexa says, well, what happens? Look, we're not looking to buy anything now. We're going to rent for a year, but later down the road, we're going to buy something. So it's really important that you do know that, right? So the downside really is the due on sale clause and also not being in touch with your seller, right? So there's a lot of benefits. You can own a lot of property. It could be some more money in her pocket. Someone did mention this is also good for her credit, right? They're going to show payment history. So again, this is a valuable way to get into a property with limited or low down payment, right? So here's a deal that one of our mentors, Taryn Ward, this house was in Virginia. This was actually a deal that if they would have walked in, if they would have sold it with a realtor, they would have had to walk in with money. This couple was actually moving out of the country. It did need some work also. And it had some minor repairs. It needed about an $18,000 rehab. And the current rent was about $2,200. So don't worry about all the green and again, all the cash on cash and all that other good stuff. What you're going to realize is that based on the expenses and the taxes, she was going to clear $564 on the deal at the $2,200 a month rent, right? So with her only putting out $6,500. So she was going to get her money back relatively quick. So that's the power of this subject to end of it, right? Put in the chat, how many guys have actually done subject to? Just kind of curious if you've actually done a subject to deal. Okay. Yeah, Courtney, I know you have. Courtney, just that, go put in the chat, what was the interest rate and how much money out of pocket? Just curious why I started talking about seller financing. And I got a good feeling, I know you, Courtney, I bet it's probably in Georgia. Okay, some of you guys, yep, Russell, and guess what? We're getting the seller financing. So Courtney, out of pocket, $3,800. What was your interest rate, Courtney? And how much are you cash flowing? 0% interest to the seller. Was it a subject to or seller financing? So while Courtney's giving me some more information, 0 interest to the seller. Okay. Oh, 0 money to the seller. Okay, got it. Okay. And how much are you cash flowing? And what state, Courtney? Just kind of curious. In the meantime, yep, and I knew it, Georgia, right? I tell you, the people in Georgia are a lot more trustworthy than our people in Florida too, right? So let's talk about seller financing. So how many of you guys, I saw Russell, you said you've done a seller financing. So what is seller financing? Put in the chat. I know, give me the short version of what you think seller financing. I'm new to real estate. Oh, I love it. Brian said he's done seller financing before Alexa was born. So pre-internet, Brian, pre-internet. Gotcha. Yep. So yeah, the seller holds the mortgage, right? They are the bank. That's probably the easiest way. So what are the benefits? What are some of the benefits of seller financing? What are some of the benefits of seller financing? Right? Yep. No qualifying. That's definitely one, right? It could be very limited money out of pocket, right? How many guys like no money out of pocket or very little money out of pocket? The benefits could be you could get a low interest rate. You get to set the terms, right? Bruce, you're right. You actually get to set the terms. So there are a lot of benefits. You could buy, again, as many properties as you want in there. It could be interest only. tons of benefits on it. So what's the downside? What's the downside on this for seller financing? It could be for the seller or for you. What's the downside? And actually, there's some other benefits for the seller too. Right, so one of the benefits for the seller is they no longer own it, so there's no maintenance, right? They're not worried about the maintenance, the roof, taxes, none of it, right? It's up to the investor. The other benefit is they're still getting monthly payments, right? They like, let's say it's a rental property, they like the monthly payments, and now they're still getting payments, and they don't have to worry about maintenance, tenants, all the above. How many of you guys love that, right? I know some of you guys are landlords. How many of you guys love just getting payments and not dealing with the mess? Give me a yeah, buddy. Right, that just tells me you had some tough tenants, right? Again, I've had property, but I've had some great tenants, and I've had some challenged tenants where, yes, I did have to evict them. Surprisingly, go figure, right? So those are some of the benefits. What are some of the downsides of seller financing? Yep, Jose, installment sale saves on taxes up front, right? So imagine, I don't know, the guys, they're retired and they want to liquidate. And now, the house they bought it for, I don't know, $100,000 and gosh, 20 years ago in South Florida. And now they sold it for $450 and there's no mortgage. So if they do sell it, right, and it's an investment property, they're going to get hit with capital gains. So sometimes they don't know what to, they're going to get hit with the tax break and they don't know what to do with it. Right? Okay, I got the 450. I'm going to get hit with, let's say, if it's 15%, you're looking about $68,000 on a tax bill. And what am I going to do with the rest of the money? Am I going to put it in a CD? Am I going to put it in a money market? So for the seller, that could be a downside. What are other downsides, possible downsides? All right, pretty big one is, yep, foreclosure, right? They, I sell them, I'm a nice guy, I'm going to make payments, and now guess what? I don't make payments, right? So now the homeowner, or the seller, I should say, has to foreclose on it. And depending on your state, it can be a challenge, right? So I could tell you just from the people I know personally, some states are better for landlords versus tenants, or all the above, right? Meaning foreclosure can move at different speeds. So, I have some friends in the state of Washington. They told me the laws are really bad there. I know New York and New Jersey are also tough, right? So meaning the downside can be if they have to come after you and foreclose, right? So that could be some of the downsides out there. Yep, and yep, New York and California, Carl's telling me, I forgot about California. Yes, they are terrible when it comes to this end of it. I think it's really important also, if you guys are investing out of state or other states, it is really important to figure out the landlord tenant laws in each state. Are they tenant friendly, landlord friendly? And same thing, the foreclosure process. Everything always sounds good until it's not, is what I'm going to tell you on that, right? So I think it's really important when it comes to that. Let's see, I got a question here. What could be the benefits what could be the benefits then us to guess? Okay, so the other benefits, and we kind of went over this, right? For us, it's no money out of pocket, no qualification. You could literally take advantage of the interest rate. The other big thing is you could actually give the seller their price, right? They're stuck on 300,000. Well, I could do 300,000 if you seller finance it, right? On that end of it. So maybe the longevity of the loan over 5, 10, 20, 30 years, they're going to make more money. So those are all the benefits that are out there. Those are the big ones that I like touching on, is that you can really control properties and buy properties out there. So one of the things that what we found out actually from Note School, Eddie Speed, is that he's actually spoken at our RIA. Gosh, it's been a few years. I'll have to actually get him to come back. And one of the things that I found out from their organization, they do buy notes. So they bought $33 million in notes. 1/3 of those notes had 0% interest and 0% down. Yep, you heard that right. So how would you like to get into a property with 0% interest and 0 down? It is 100% possible, is what I'm trying to tell you. So again, for me, it's about cash flow when it comes to it. And then, right, so even on that same deal, right, to give you an idea, you could amortize the loan. So on that deal for the 220, if they were going to amortize it, it had to be less for 187. And again, we use software to help us calculate different strategies. We use REI Black Book. They have a creative financing tool in there. You could put whatever interest rate. In this example, we did 40 years. And for the key for me, again, it was about cash flow, right? You could also do a net to seller. They're going to get a certain amount. Again, you still don't want to go crazy on this, especially if they're new, meaning the seller, they're going to be like, this is overwhelming. So I always think it's important that you can amortize it, you could do interest only. So a lot of times, yeah, what I've seen is the seller financing I've done, it usually is not long term. It's usually interest only for 3 to 5 years, and it's a balloon. So what I'm saying is, exactly, for example, on this example, it's 5% down, 3% interest only, and it's a balloon of 7 years. So I'm always going to make the interest payment. It's very little money out of pocket. And on the 7th year, I'm going to pay them off. Right? In this case, it's $204,000. And if you actually look at their numbers based on these interest rates, they would net actually $251,000. So that's another option. You could also do within seller financing equal payments, right? Maybe they say it's a 10-year deal. So based on us on that same deal, doing cash flow, again, I was all about cash flow. We were willing to offer more money on the deal. We were even able to do equal payments, principals and interest, and we were able to offer them $264,000. Very little money out of pocket too. So the idea is, the great thing about seller financing is that you can actually manipulate the numbers to make it a win-win. What I am going to tell you is, right, is that if you don't understand these ways to actually go after creative financing, you have to understand it well to explain it to a homeowner. Because remember, most homeowners, they've owned it maybe once or twice, maybe 3 times. What I found, the seller financing has just been easier for me because they can relate to, hey, now you're the bank. Instead of me paying the bank 7 or 8% on the deal, why don't I go ahead and let you become the bank? The other way, I also do sell seller financing, right? So a lot of times the house is not in great condition. And I'll say, you know, Alexa, listen, the house, I'll do this if you'll carry the mortgage. You're going to feel comfortable and make payments because I am going to upgrade the house. I'm going to put $40,000 or $50,000 in the house, right? So I'd rather use that cash for the $40,000 or $50,000. God forbid I don't fix the house, right? Or I don't make payments. You could theoretically foreclose on me, right? Again, this is all about trust. So Alexa, how would you feel on that end of the seller financing? I said, you're against it. You know, we agreed on 0% down because I need the $50,000 to fix up the house. And, you know, instead of me paying the bank, you know, 7%, how about I pay you 7%? And we could do a balloon where, you know, it's 3 years or 5 years. And what that really means is when that 3rd year comes or 5th year, I'm going to pay you in full.
Right. If the trust is there, I am down 1,000%. I mean, there's a reason why I would be even going into this with you. So,
Yep. The other thing that's really important is I see a lot of investors, they don't ask enough questions.
right.
And what I mean by that is, let's just say Alexa is, why is she selling the house? Right?
Mhm.
Is she relocating? Is she moving closer to her family? Is she moving out of the country? What is she going to be doing with the money? Right? Maybe she only needs, I don't know, $20,000 because I don't know, she really wanted to buy a motorcycle. I'll pick that, right? Like it could be anything that like you want to ask those tough questions. Uh, I don't even say tough. What I should say, inquisitive questions to
Yes.
make it a win-win
Right.
because they might not need all that money right now.
Hmm.
And that could be the big difference out there too. So, and yes,
And
if you
build the
could please
trust as well.
put your questions in the Q&A as the chat moves a little fast for me too. So,
Yes, you don't want to
um,
lose your questions, guys. So put the
yep.
links in the
Oh,
Q&A box.
yep. And so what is a lease option? So I know one of our students, Brian Mann, if you've seen him at any of our meetings, he is an expert. So Brian, do not answer what a lease option is. Yes, and Carl Fisher's correct. When the balloon comes, right, on that 3-year or 5-year, you could refinance the house, right? Hopefully it'll be a lower rate and hopefully there's some equity. And if you really do it right, which I didn't really talk about, is your return could be infinite if you did 0% down, right? And you settle finance the whole thing. Oh, and by the way, you should be making some cash flow. So again, no down payment, cash flow, and you own something also. Yep. So at least with an option to buy. Yep. What else? What's another way of saying that, right? So lease option to buy, right? So what I'm going to do with Alexa, I'm going to say, great, I'm going to buy your townhouse for $200,000 today. I'm going to do an option and I'm going to rent it out for 2,000 a month, right? So let's say market rent's 2,000 or actually market rent's 1,600, let's say. And I say, Alexa, you know what? I'm going to buy it for $200,000. We're going to lock in the price and I will rent it from you for 1,300 a month or 1,400 a month. And I'd like to do a lease option for 2 years. So again, I'm locking the price for 200,000. We're in it together for 1,300. In the meantime, I'm not going to live in it. I'm going to try to rent it out. So I want it more than what I'm paying rent to Alexa. So if I'm paying her 1,300, I would at least want 1,500 or 1,600 in there, right? The question is option, right? So it is not a deposit. Super important. This is not a deposit. It is a non-refundable fee. I'm going to pay Alexa a certain amount. So this is up for negotiations, right? So Alexa might say, give me 20 grand. And I'm probably going to say, you're crazy. You've been trying to sell your place forever. There's no way I'm going to put 20 grand in based on those numbers, right? Because if I don't buy in 2 years, guess what? Alexa gets to keep it, right? She gets to keep she keeps my 20 grand. She gets to do it all over again. If she wants. I'm out 20 grand. What I would probably do is I'd probably want to keep it close to whatever the rent is, right? So I might do a $2,500 option fee. And she could say yes or no, right? On that end of it. Now we agree at 1,300. I'm going to wait and say, hey, the way I work my options is that we don't start until 60 days. Within the 60 days, I'm going to get a renter in there, right? I'm going to do a background check. I'm going to get the 1,500, right? So now, even during that option end of it, I'm going to ask, I might say, listen, Alexa, out of that $1,300, if I buy it in 2 years, can I use a partial or a portion of that payment towards the down payment of the house of the 200,000? Again, negotiations here. I might negotiate $500. I've actually seen investors use the full amount, the full 1,300. They said, oh, in 2 years, do you mind? And again, it's up for negotiations, but she might say $500 is good. And so in 2 years, right? So 500 times 12 is 6,000 plus another 6,000, right? So I'm in it for 12,000 plus my 2,500. Theoretically, I paid $14,500 down as a down payment out of the $200,000, right? So my cash to close would be, I should make the math easier, but 185, 500. Right? That could be one. And she's like, yeah, no problem. And the way I'd probably sell it to her is like, look, you would have paid real estate commissions. I'm a licensed agent, all the above. She's like, yeah, sure, no problem if you're gonna go ahead and do it. Now, the other thing that's important is, let's say, same scenario, right? The 1,500 I'm getting, it's 2 years later. I cleared 200 a month, right? So it's 2,400, 4,800 bucks. And now, let's say the market went down, right? Instead of 200,000, it's worth 150, 160. I'm gonna say, Alexa, sorry, I'm not gonna exercise my option. You could keep my deposit, right? Is one, and I still didn't lose any money, right? And I have control of the property for 2 years. So it's super important. It's a great way to control property. What I would actually do is I would try to renegotiate to that 150 price to see if she really wanted to sell. Right? So the benefits, what are some of the benefits? Go ahead and put in the chat. What are some of the benefits, right? Same as before, seller financing, like what you notice. There's no qualifying, right? Which I love. No credit check. You could buy as many as you want, right? You could buy 100 of these, 200 of these, right? You can be, if you're doing it right, you can be having some cash flow in there, right? So, which is important. You can make it a win-win, right? So what we're seeing in our market, I know you guys are around nationally, the market softened a little bit. I am starting to see more lease options. Sellers are realizing it is no longer 2022, right? And what I mean by that is that people are not killing themselves to get houses, right, on that portion. So I think it's really important. They're coming, I don't know, a little more to reality, right? And then the other benefits, maybe some people are liquidating or they just want to get out of it, or again, they don't want to deal with dealing with a tenant on the lease option side. I'm going to be dealing with a new tenant in there. There are things that you're going to want to put in the clause that you're responsible for a certain amount of money on that end of it. At the end of the day, on the lease option as the investor, let's say the roof caves in, right? Alexa still owns the house. So she's still responsible and I get to tie it up. Let's talk about some of the downside. What are some of the downsides of lease options? What can be? Put in the chat. What do you think are some of the downsides of lease options? Well, what happens if the price goes up? So a good friend of mine, Ryan Garrison, actually out of Washington State, I need to have him come back on here. I've actually done a fireside chat with him a couple years ago. And so he had 3 lease options in Washington State. This was during the pandemic. And remember, 5 years ago, everyone was panicking, right? We're like, oh my God, no one's renting, no one's buying. The banks are all going crazy, all that other good stuff. So he did 3 lease options. And guess what happened, right? He did a 2-year lease option and all the properties skyrocketed, right? So each of his 3 houses had well over between $160,000 in equity. And 2 of the people exercised the option. So indirectly, he lost all that equity. The third one, thankfully, in his words, couldn't get qualifier loan, and they did not exercise the option. So he was able to resell it for the higher price, right? So that could be one of the downsides. The other downside could be is you put too much on that option fee, right? Again, I'm using that scenario of $20,000, $30,000, whatever that looks like, option fee, and you didn't close, right? So again, it is non-refundable. I just want everyone to know that's super important. If you're selling your house as an option, make sure when people give you the money, it's an option fee, not a deposit. It goes right back into the landlord tenant end of it. So it's really important when it comes to that. And then, right, so again, there's all different ways. Same thing on this lease option. She could have done this deal. Again, 5 years was what she was doing on it. And the funny part was, at the end of the day, on this deal specifically, they went after the subject too. So the other thing you could also do on a wrap, again, this is like if you're selling property, right? So maybe I seller financed it with Alexa for 4% or 2%. And I sold it to Courtney, one of my friends, at 8 or 9%. So I have a seller finance note with Alexa for $200,000. And now I seller finance it to Courtney for 300,000 and a higher interest rate. So the idea is using this example, the seller mortgage is 4% with Alexa for the 200,000. I seller finance 300,000 at 8%. I make a 4% spread on the 200,000. And then I make 8% on the other 100,000. So there's definitely different ways once you actually start understanding creative financing, how to sell on terms also, right? So we've had some of the guys in my mastermind group, we've had Scott Jesnick in the past doing slow flips. They're literally buying these houses for $35,000 in St. Louis. They're buying them in Indiana, Ohio, and they're seller financing it for $70,000 or $80,000 at a high interest rate. So what I do like about that formula is that they're borrowing, they're raising money for the down payment, the 25,000-30,000 from an investor for 5 years. And after the 25 years, they're getting payments out there. So again, we have, once you start getting a feel for creative financing, it's going to really change everything out there too. So let's see, I got a question in here.
Yeah, then please, guys, in the chat, just put your questions in the Q&A so that we don't miss it. It's in your Zoom menu, there's a box with a little question mark on there. Anyone who has questions that they put in the chat, just if you could just paste those into the Q&A so that we don't miss it. Thank you, guys.
Yep. And so let's see, Jose, if the buyer defaults on payments and seller exercise foreclosure, realistic, how long could it take to get property back in Florida, judicial state? So without, again, giving you 100% legal advice, if I was going to seller finance it, you could put certain terms in there where they have to deed the property right back to you as soon as they miss 3 payments. So there's other ways out there, and it just depends. So again, you definitely want to have a good lawyer on your team creating your seller financing documents, or even on the sub-2 also. Again, that's through a trust out there, right? So then the question is, what type of properties does this work on, right? So it works on single family homes, right? Multifamily commercial properties. If you guys were up in Boca, Michael Johnson, one of the lead mentors, was talking about how many seller financing deals he's done with multifamily. He did a couple of deals between 3 to 6 million. And the seller was holding more than 50% on one of them. I believe the other one was close to 70 to 80% out there. So again, this works for condos and townhouses also, and definitely land too, right? At the end of the day, right, for us, the biggest thing is what we're looking for, guys? Motivated sellers, right? So, wow, man, the time is going by quick, right? So that's like, today was just a quick, brief idea what seller financing is. And I know some of you guys are saying, hey, this is some good stuff. So on the 2-day quick start, we go into seller financing a little bit more. In our program, right, we do focus on wholesale and rehabbing, and we're truly a one-on-one mentoring program. And what I mean by that is if you have subject to, do you have lease options, seller financing, your mentor and I, we will do these deals absolutely together out there, right? So some of the deals that our students have done, right, to give you an idea, right? This is Julio. This was one of the deals actually knocking on doors. This was a hoarder. The homeowner actually has been living in this house for 5+ years, right? We could actually, it was funny because we did do a cash deal on this, had well over $380,000 in liens. We negotiated the liens down to $3 plus hard costs, $1,700. And we had our buyer actually take care of it. We did actually talk about this gentleman even holding a note in case we were going to rehab the house. And he actually needed the money because he was relocating up in Port St. Lucie and paid cash. This was a wholesale deal. Again, I put up 100% of the money for the deals. The total net profit was $138,000, and our student made 50% on this deal. Same thing, another hoarder deal, right? This is, again, Julio. On this deal, we did the probate. Our job here at BPM RIA is to basically fix problems, right? So was under probate. We did the first probate, and guess what? The heir passed away. The heir passed away. It's a sad story. They actually passed out on the lawn, and they found, unfortunately, the body a couple of days later. We did a second probate. We tracked down the heir. He didn't even know he was an heir. Long story short, the heir got well over $100,000 on the deal. We cleaned it up, and we made a wholesale profit of $110,000. Again, our student made 50% on this deal. This was a reverse mortgage short sale. We actually talked about even getting the mortgage up to date on this because they were behind on the mortgage. We could not do it because it was a reverse mortgage short sale. With reverse mortgages, you cannot take over the mortgage. You have to be a certain age and you have to assume it. So the creative financing was not an option on this deal. And this deal was $179,000 profit. We did nothing to the house. This was an unsafe structure. What you're guys going to find out as you start getting better at creative financing deals. I've done this numerous times where I gave them a cash offer, a leasing offer, subject to if there was a mortgage on, and seller financing. And sometimes homeowners are just, I don't want to say confused. And they'll say, you know what, Anish, what's your cash offer? Right? Versus just a lowball cash offer. Again, this also had liens, unsafe structure. This deal was pretty good also, right? $111,000 profit. Again, with our students, we go 50-50 on the deals, and I put up 100% of the money. And, you know, now I know some of you guys are saying, man, that sounds great, but can I really do it, right? How many guys have actually said that? So that's exactly what one of our students thought. And let me just play a quick little video.
Hi, everybody. My name is Antonio Lopez. My company name is Antlop Investment Properties. And before I met Anish Dave and joined the BPM RIA mentoring, I had just a basic idea of what I needed to do in real estate investing. After I joined, aside from learning pretty much everything that was required to learn about real estate investing and to become successful, one of the biggest benefits that I received was the amazing network of people that were part of the club. Everything that you can think of, everything that you need in order to be successful in real estate investing, you can find it here at the BPM RIA. So thank you so much, BPM and Anish, for everything. I really appreciate it. I owe you guys a ton. And for you guys watching this, I highly encourage you to check out BPM RIA. It's the first place you need to, where you want to start your real estate investing journey. So, hi, everybody. My name.
So what I love about Antonio, he just did a subject to deal. I'm actually the trustee on a subject to deal. The homeowner didn't want the cash offer. He wanted to live in the house for another year. So he did a subject to deal. He did want to walk away with a little bit of money. And he actually, Antonio cashed about 30 grand. Again, had well over $100,000 worth of equity. And he is actually cash flowing, I believe, a couple $100 a month. So super excited for about $30,000. He got in a deal with well over $100,000 in equity. And again, using the techniques, if he would have just used that cash offer, he would have totally missed out on this deal. So one of these deals that we love with our student and mentor, Harry Diamond. Again, this was a deal, knocking on doors, using RIAFax. And what I love about this deal was he wholesaled it. We cleaned it out. And he made $145,000 tax-free. So when you're in our coaching program, one of the things we teach you is how to buy real estate, make some money, and the best part, how to make it tax-free. So Carl Fisher, who is on board where my account is at Camel Plan, one of our best people out there that I've seen out there. And you know, as a BPM member and client, I love it. And the best part about this was tax-free for Harry. This is another one, a duplex, same thing. Convinced Harry to buy it in his self-directed IRA, another $265,000 tax-free, right? So the key again is to make money. The second is to keep it legally. When I say legally, only to pay my share of taxes out there. So we also do rehab houses here at BPM RIA. We cleaned it up. Super easy rehab. And again, $67,000. I put up 100% of the money for our elite students. And we go 50-50. And you actually learn hands-on how to make money doing a rehab with my money, right? So let's shift gears for a second, because while the numbers are impressive, I know, what we really do here at BPM is change lives. So I'm going to play a quick video of one of our.
My name is Kevin Tyree. My company name is, I work with BPM RIA. Before joining BPM RIA, my previous career, I worked at the Port of Miami for 23 years, and I also was a buy and hold investor. After joining BPM RIA, I've learned how to wholesale, short sales, work with probate properties, and things of that nature. Join BPM. Thanks, Anish.
Yeah, so Kevin is a buy and hold guy. He's done probate deals. He's also a licensed agent, and he's retired from his W-2 job. And, you know, to watch him grow as a real estate investor, and now I'm trying to push him to use some of these creative financing techniques, especially since he's a licensed real estate agent. So here's a deal that we did as a rehab. Again, you're starting to see the same theme. We do stage it. We're not adding additions. So this was a pretty good rehab with the Latanya from beginning to end. The rehab took $167,000 from the day we bought it to the day we sold it. That's an $80-something thousand profit for her. So this was a house in a tear down, right, that someone brought. I would have loved to actually put this in my self-directed Roth IRA as a flip at the time. Unfortunately, I was not able to do it, so it hurts because I had no idea we'd make a wholesale profit of $170,000 on that deal. This is another deal, one of our students, Julio, same thing. Starting to see our numbers are $122,000. The student made 50%. You're starting to see our numbers are pretty big here in South Florida. Again, we bought this house in Pembroke Pines for $167,000. So this was another deal down in South Miami, right? We didn't clean it up, or that was cleaned up, I should say. They thought the house was going to be a tear down. Pretty good deal, $235,000 profit. This is a 55 and over black mold. Again, we don't mind rehabbing the houses. Imagine you started using creative financing on some of your deals, right? So for us, it's just another tool in the tool belt, right? So that was a pretty good deal with Sandra, $61,000 profit. And so one of our recent Quick Start attendees had this to say.
Hi, my name's Nicole Bergatti. I'm with Bergatti Properties, and I'm currently a full-time employee of CBRE. I'm events and meeting coordinator. And prior to starting the 2-day Quick Start course, I've always wanted to do real estate. I've always been interested in flipping homes and all that good stuff. And I knew Anish, and I knew that this is what he did. And he's so smart, and he knows real estate so well. And so I went ahead and just took the course, and I am so glad I did, because a couple months later, we ended up closing a deal that was worth $42,000. And that's great money. And now I have a few more deals in the pipeline, and I'm super excited about my investing future. And that wouldn't have been possible without Anish and his team. And I 100% recommend that you take this course, get started, and do it.
Yep, and I love that Nicole works full-time and she started doing the 2-day quick start. And so at BPM RIA, right, we put up 100% of the problems, no credit, no problem, right? I put up all the money, you're taking no risk. We go 50-50 on your deals, right? So your return's almost infinite because you have no money in the deal. No more analysis paralysis. I know many of you guys say, Anish, I don't know how to analyze deals, right? And you always have direct access to your mentors with unlimited support when you need it too. So we do have 2 programs out there. So what I suggest, I know Alexa already put it in the chat, book a discovery call. And you're going to have 2 questions about our 2 programs where I put up 100% of the money for the deals. One is for wholesaling, one's for wholesaling and rehabbing. And again, since we're truly a one-on-one mentoring, we will do also creative deals if the numbers make sense with you too. So our 2-day quick start, again, that Alexa was already talking about, it's A to Z, how to flip a house, wholesaling, rehabbing, assignments of contracts, double closings, what kind of corporations you should set up, how to analyze properties and how to find off-market deals. Some of the bonuses that I do offer, right, for people that actually sign up is our 2-ticket to Marshall Silver's Turning Points, $5,900 value, transactional funding for deals. So when you do the 2-day quick start and you get something under contract, I'll go ahead and put up the money for the double closing, right? There is a cost of the money. And if you need help selling the properties, we have our co-wholesaling partnership program. Obviously, you have the experienced power team, right? $80,990 in value. And the biggest thing, I give you a money back guarantee, right? So after the first day, you say, hey, this is not for me. What I am going to do is I'm going to give you all your money back if you say this wasn't for you, right? So I'm not sure what else I could do for you guys to make this a win-win. How many of you guys love what you learned today? Put it in the chat. And in the meantime, our pricing for members are $495, non-members $695. So yeah, great. Got a couple people that love it. Awesome. And I know somebody won something today, Alexa.
Yes, I have a winner. Let me make sure they're still in here. Yes, yes. Okay. I have a winner for the free quick start ticket. Drum roll. Congratulations, Ma. I hope I'm saying that right. M-A. You texted in, so yay! Congratulations.
Awesome.
Ma. I'll be in touch with you so you can get your free ticket. Woo, 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 woo.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and the thing, it's just really interesting because, you know, we talk about this and it's almost May, right? And the first quarter is done. How many of you guys have been thinking about getting into real estate investing and now it's May, right? So for us, I just want to let you guys know, it's just really, you know, we know that there's enough time for everyone to make money out there. And it's just, you got to do it, right? There's a ton of opportunity. If you've been watching the webinars, we showed how many pre-foreclosures. We've been showing you how many possible deals there are in our market too. So again, I do want to thank you guys for hopping on today. If you have more questions, go ahead and, you know, book a discovery call, do a call with me, ask me all the questions about our coaching program, or even our quick start. And I hope to see you guys. Actually, I'll see you Thursday for our webinar with Arlie.
Yes, you guys, tomorrow night at Total Wine, Boca Raton, Anish is one of the founders for Next Million Mastermind. He won't be there, but we will have founders there. It will be taught by one of the founders, Sean McMurray, who you guys know, that's our Steve Aoki in-house marketing guy. So you guys, he is really great at breakthroughs, like getting you to break through whatever you're going through, marketing wise, showing up in your business, making that, you know, persona online. So please, if you guys are having anything with marketing, you want to get some networking, you want to go to Total Wine in Boca, you're in Palm Beach County, whatever it is, you must show up and register. So we'll see you guys at Boca tomorrow, Thursday webinar with Anish. We're going to talk title. I'll be there to help RLE just really nail the teachings in about the title insurance. You guys, this is so important. And these are vendor partners that are dedicated to your growth and your learning, your understanding when it comes to the deals that you're doing. So please, I also put the Google review link in there. I'm going to drop it one more time just in case. Please give us a 5-star Google review if you haven't already. I'll be happy to give you like a 1-month free trial, the membership, you guys. I am so grateful for every single 5-star review that you guys give with your feedback. We definitely appreciate it. If you have any webinar requests, let us know. We will have this replay up within 24 hours. We have been working on the turnaround time for the replays for you guys. So 24 hours, we'll have that replay posted of this class so you can share it with somebody who needs it. And like Anish said, let us know if you have any questions. Book a discovery call on the website. Gonna drop the link one more time. And I will be following up with each and every one of you a little thank you email. I will send you guys the bonuses so you can remember them and notate that. So if you're doing the quick start, you don't forget that we have your back all the way through. You end the quick start, it doesn't end there. We're still here. So go book your call. I want to get in touch with each and every one of you. The calendar's filling up. So I look forward to speaking with you guys one-on-one. And thank you to everyone who gives us a 5-star Google review. I really appreciate that. So,
Yep.
guys,
Thank you guys. Enjoy your day. We'll see you soon. Bye.